Welcome. What I'd like to do in this short video is to just go over the assignments and the course progress notes for what I'm calling the introductory week and the first week to give you some idea of what I expect, what you need to be working on, what you need to be doing. The very first short week from September 5th through 10th, I'm calling that the introductory week, and during that time, I'd like you to be focusing on several different things. Review the syllabus, make sure you understand where we're going, what's required in the course, what my requirements are for doing assignments and quizzes and whatever, and get back to me by email with any questions or comments that you have on that, or post them on the discussion board so that I'll answer it for everybody. I would ask you to also open up the section of Blackboard called case briefs or briefing a case, and review the instructions that are there. That's just a one-page sheet, kind of give you an outline of how to do a brief. And there are two sample briefs which I've redacted from briefs handed in to me by students in previous courses. Both of those briefs, the students did a rather good job on them. I like them. And again, it gives you kind of an idea of the structure of how a brief should be written. Your brief should be broken down into sections with headings. They should not just be a written paragraph as if you were handing in an English essay, but they should actually be broken down by subject matter and category, so whoever's reading them can quickly glance at each section and look at what is of most interest to them. Start reading chapter 1, pages 3 through 28. We will be following the textbook, and chapter 1 is, of course, going to be our first substantive look at what's going on in the course. We'll be discussing that more in what I'm calling week 1, which is September 11th through 17th, but start your reading, get ready on that. And respond to my question on the discussion board, where I've been asking you to let me know what would be good days or times during the week to have a weekly informal meeting where anybody who wants to can just get online, ask questions, raise issues, tell me how difficult I'm being, or how you can't understand what the assignment is because I haven't made it clear, all that happy kind of stuff. These meetings will never be mandatory. Whether you attend or don't attend will not affect your grade, but I want to have the opportunity to get to kind of see you, hear you, get to know you folks a little bit, to have the ability for you to get to know me, and to have kind of a semi-classroom presence so that maybe you can get to see and know each other a little bit. So again, give me some days and times when we could do that. As we go through the semester, I will try to set one day and time a week when we can expect to have that happen. And I will also probably set up alternate meeting days and times for those who have difficulty at showing up at the regularly set time. That will kind of be a work in progress. We'll have to roll with that as we go through the semester. In terms of what I'm calling week 1, which will be September 11th through 17th, there is already an assignment for week 1 posted in the weekly section on Blackboard. Please open it up, look at it. There are basically 4 or 5 questions that I expect you to answer. In terms of answers, I'm looking for 1 or 2 paragraphs, anywhere between 1 inch to 3 inches of single-space typing for each question. If you go beyond 2 single-space type pages, you've probably gone into way too much depth. If you have less than that, you're probably not answering the question completely enough. So again, I do expect a paragraph or a couple of paragraphs to answer each question. Try not to be what we call conclusory. So if you read the question and it appears that you could answer it by saying yes or no. I'm not looking for just yes or no. I'm looking for yes with an explanation or no with an explanation. As we go through the semester, I'll be posing different questions. I'll be giving you questions on your quizzes. And again, I don't really even care whether you answer yes correctly or no incorrectly. What I'm looking for is your reasoning, your thought process. Do you understand the issues behind this? If you come to a different conclusion than I would have, that's not really the issue. The issue is, have you thought about the material, and do you have some idea how the material could fall on either side? In all criminal cases, in almost every type of lawsuit, there are always 2 sides. depending on how the facts fall into place, depending on how the issues are stated, depending on the argumentation and discussion of the parties involved. There are many times when a case could be decided either way, and it's a very, very narrow difference between the case being decided for or against one of the sides. So there are usually two answers, two sides to every question. I'm not looking for your summary yes or no. I'm looking for how you're going to think about that and analyze your answer, whichever one it is. I'm sorry to keep looking at my notes, but I have to do that on this format. Read chapter 1 notes in each chapter as we go along. I will be also posting my notes that go along with what we are reading in the textbook. It will show you what my emphasis is on the materials. It may give you some further explanations where I think the textbook might be a little bit confusing. And from time to time, it will probably even list some of my disagreements with what's going on in the textbook. Because again, this is more of an art form than a hard science. Lawyers disagree about different situations involving the criminal law, and I will try and point some of those out as we go along through the semester. But very important for you to look at the notes when it comes time for me to draft the quizzes and the final exam. I will be taking the questions there, the issues there, topics there, just as much from the notes that I post as I will from the textbook. So it's important for you to do both as we go along. I have said it before, make sure that you contact me, and if you're watching this video, that constitutes a contact before the end of the second week, because I have to verify enrollment, and if I've received no contact from you at all, I have to report you as being non-attending, and you will be dropped from the course, and it will be an incredible amount of energy and wasted time on your part to get signed back in, if that's what you choose to do. In the handout section on Blackboard, so far I've posted 2 items. I'll be posting more as we go through the semester. Usually handouts will be things that are helpful but not mandatory. I won't be demanding that you write essays on them or answer questions on a quiz or final exam about them, but they're things that I think will be helpful to you. I have posted so far and the entire text of the Constitution of the United States and all of its amendments. Constitutional law is very important in practice and study and development of criminal law and procedure today. So we will be referring to the Constitution and the various amendments thereto over and over through the semester. And I've given you a basic text so that you can look up different sections from time to time if you feel the need to do that. I've also given you a list of what I call Supreme Court terms or Supreme Court terminology. These might be particularly helpful in writing your briefs. The Supreme Court of the United States and the Supreme Courts of the various states tend to use a particular legal jargon that's even different from everyday practice of law. And so you'll probably run into terms in the textbook and in the cases I want you to brief that you have not encountered before. So I've tried to take a list of these items and put them down where you can easily look them up and see what the definitions, or at least what my definitions of them are, to again help assist you in understanding the textbook and in briefing the cases. I will, in the next few days, be posting what we need to be doing in what I'm calling week 2 and week 3, and we will go on with there. If you want to get a head start, you can begin reading chapter 2 in the book. I'm only going to do pages 34 through 43 in the book. There is a very detailed second half of, or second 2/3 even of that chapter that has to do with military law, Native American law, the interaction of foreign law and United Nations rulings with American, United States law. Those are all important topics. I wish I had time to cover them all. They are all specialties that most practicing attorneys never deal with in their lifetime unless they happen to be in the Judge Advocates Corps in the military or in the diplomatic service, or if they happen to be a member, an attorney for one of the Native American tribes. So again, important issues, but we have more common everyday type things, normal criminal law things that we need to get to and are going to have difficulty covering this semester. So you're free certainly to read up on those things and to follow the different references they give you in the textbook to learn more. Each of those areas would make an incredibly interesting career as a paralegal or a lawyer if you wanted to go in that direction. But for our purposes, I think the authors of the book went a little far out on that. So I'm not requiring you to read those materials, nor will I be putting up notes on them or discussing them. All right, over and out for now. I hope you find these little blurbs about the assignments helpful. And again, any questions, comments, put them on the discussion board, email me. In dire disasters, if you have to, call me. I usually do not answer my phones directly, so that you'll have to leave a message and I will get back to you. All right, carry on, folks. We will be in contact again.